showcases, and a thriving community of mixer enthusiasts. On our website, you can easily explore different areas of interest. Yeah. On our website, you can easily explore different areas of interest, whether you are an innovator looking for inspiration, an investor searching for promising projects, or an ecosystem enabler wanting to provide support and mentorship. We also conduct focus group sessions on topics specific to your domain. So reach out to us in case you need a focus group discussion tailored to your specific requirements. Now let's talk about how you can choose the area where you need help. Whether you are a budding entrepreneur with a game-changing mixer idea or an experienced investor seeking the next big thing, Mixer World has something for everyone. Mixer World is constantly buzzing with activities, whether it's a virtual mixer symposium, an in-person innovation, or a webinar featuring industry experts. You'll find it on our event calendar. So here are the 3 steps that you can follow. Scan the QR code to visit the link. I'll wait for a minute while you do that. Yeah, once you have scanned the code, you will be redirected to step 2, where you'll have to enter your email ID, and you can share your feedback about today's mixer event. And if there is any specific speech that you liked, or anything specific you want to share with the audience, feel free to share your feedback over here. And also you can also share your input with where you need help with. This is for the startups. So if you in the next mixers you want to participate in a speaking slot, or you want a FGD, you can let us know and our team will get back to you shortly. Yeah. And also a special shout out to our fantastic startups, panelists, and experts who shared their insights and experiences. Your contribution have added immense value to our discussion, and we appreciate the passion and expertise you will bring to the table today. So, yeah. So now, moving on to Dr. Madan Mohan Rao. Hi, Madan. Great to have you again.
Yeah, wonderful. Cheers.
Yeah.
How's Hyderabad?
Yeah, Hyderabad's good. I'm actually back now, so
Oh,
I'll
good.
be back for a while. Yeah.
Good. Catch up with you soon then. Yeah. Let me also ask Vinay to speak. Vinay, we got speakers joining today from Thailand, Indonesia, and the UK. So, Vinay, what's happening in Thailand?
Yeah,
Vinay.
hello everyone. Hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, yes.
Excited to be joining my first virtual mixer. And so I've been interacting with a lot of change makers, as much as startups and innovators out here. Many of them are in the climate tech domain. Some of them are in the nature, wildlife, and a lot of areas of problem solving in these sectors. So it's also a sort of a education, learning holiday, sort of a 2-3 weeks for me, and I'll be happy to share more in the next mixer with many of you.
Yeah, we'll do one at Climate Tech next month. So till then, enjoy the holidays. Don't do too much work now. Okay, so good. Let's get started. First of all, welcome everyone to the this hybrid mixer kind of thing. We have startups, investors, corporates, etc., lawyers, and so on over here with us. First, we should celebrate. We got some very good piece of news today. There is something called the Most Innovative Knowledge Enterprise Awards, given globally to the most innovative companies who use knowledge management, AI, tech, and all that. And 3 companies from India are declared as the global mic winners, including 3 in the most outstanding category. So Afcons Infrastructure, Cognizant, and Tata Chemicals. All of them have spoken in this forum before, so we can sort of collectively applaud all of them. We also have with us, yeah, thanks, members of the Bangalore K community. So we've been meeting for the last 20 years, off and on, every month, every quarter, etc., to discuss what's happening with enterprise tech, enterprise AI, and so on. So there's a good conference of all the other ones. And big thanks to Balaji from Moss Adams. You will also get a chance to give the big grand Moss Adams vision of the world and all that stuff. But first, thanks for hosting us. A very convenient location for most of us who normally get gridlocked elsewhere. So good attractive factor. So I think we can move all our key communities over here at least. Fantastic. Thank you.
Happy to host you.
Thanks all the time. That's good. Okay, so we got a packed agenda. We got 5 startups. We got about the 7-8 speakers plus other folks here as well. We'll do a round of introductions afterwards. But let's begin with the startup, which is Farooq. Are you here? Farooq Haq from talentplace.ai, AI-based recruitment. If not, Sarthak is here with us. Sarthak Srivastava is the founder of Code Bugged. And Sarthak, over to you. You got 5 minutes, sharp.
Sure. So I should be there?
Yeah. Well, Sai, he can sit where he is, right? Or go in the front.
It will be better.
Yeah.
It will be better.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
So I have 5 minutes.
Yeah. Sai, you running the slides yourself?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's too less
Yeah.
to get a check, I must say.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi,
Okay.
shucks.
Yeah, start. Yeah. Then you can start talking.
So a brief introduction about myself. So my name is Sarthak. I used to work at NVIDIA, and while I was working with NVIDIA, I used to consult 3 companies on their AI strategy. So I was consulting Mercedes-Benz, Tata Steel, and Boeing. So during that time, I learned this that okay, companies are willing to get the AI transformation, but you're not having a proper strategy. And even if they are having a proper strategy, the optimization part is missing. And thus we started creating a platform. I started creating a platform, I would say, along with a couple of my friends. We created a platform, we tried to sell that platform, but we didn't see much traction. So we pivoted our startup and then we came into AI services space. So Codebug is an AI service company. So it has been almost 2 years since I'm running this company as a private limited. Prior to that, I was running this as an MSME, and we were mainly into consulting domain. Was prior to August 2021, I would say.
Sai, that's the wrong one. Next one. Codebug.
Just a minute. I'll just quickly share.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So the term Codebug stands for a company that is willing to make the world debug. Debug means free of problems, free of errors, right? So it will be better if you can put this on presentation mode. Okay, I guess this is fine, right? Coming to next slide. Okay. So what we say is that we say that transform your business with AI. So as we all know that some of us are owning a business over here, and we all want the with word to happen or the HMC, that is human machine interaction, to happen. We don't want to work alone, rather we want to work with AI. Like I'm not going to say that AI gonna kill jobs, rather what I would be saying that this decade is going to be the with decade where AI will be working with humans, right? So we are a full stack AI company where we leverage the power of AI to solve complex business problems, right? So if you talk about the problem of document processing, all of the enterprises are dealing with a lot of documents, whether they are invoices, purchase order, legal documents for law firms, and many other. Even if you talk about WeWork, like WeWork would be consuming a lot of documents while onboarding a startup, right? While offering them some kind of package, right? So what we do is like we build an LLM which could understand all the document, can get the information fetched out of it, and can put it in a proper Excel manner, right? So moving ahead on to next slide. So coming to our capability portfolio, so our capability lies in computer vision image processing. That's my personal forte. And basically, like I'm graduate in computer science and engineering. And post that, like I have spent around 5 years in building computer vision models. So I've played around object detection, image classification, and currently I would like you would be seeing me more of a sales guy, but yeah, I was a techie quite time back, right? So I'm expert in basically optimizing the models for ARM boards, right? So computer vision, then natural language processing, Gen AI, it's a post chat GPT word. Everyone wants Gen AI. RPA, full stack web apps, mobile apps, data analytics application, and machine learning apps. Coming to next slide. So how we offer these capabilities, right? So our offerings are into 4 verticals. Let me know once I have 1 minute remaining. Okay, I'll try to go a little faster. Yeah. So full stack AI product development, we develop the complete product for you, solving your business problem, and we also maintain it for you. So how we get the revenue? The first is the one-time development fee, and the second is the AMC or subscription, right? Coming to consultancy and training services, if we talk mainly about the Indian market, most of the companies are still learning how to adopt AI, right? They are still trying to figure out that, okay, if I'm investing on AI, what should be my ROI, right? So we solve that particular question. That if you are having a question on ROI, we will be consulting you, we'll be training you how to use AI and so on, right? Then model training and optimization. This is a very industry specific thing for deep tech companies. So companies like Infosys, Cognizant, TechM, something like that, okay? If you're trying to build a model and it is very computationally expensive, it cannot run on my mobile phone on an ARM device, then probably it's of no use in today's world, right? Because people want everything to work on their edge, right? 2 minutes again. Okay. So what we do is like we optimize the model, right? So then AI workforce augmentation, as we all know that okay, how workforce augmentation works. So even we provide you resources to begin your AI journey. So all in all, we can help you in anything related to AI. Moving ahead quickly.
Next slide.
Yeah. Next slide. So we have some top case studies. Now, in the interest of time, I will be just taking 2 to 3 case studies. Okay, rest of them, like I can probably share with you and you can read it quickly. Yeah. Next slide. So coming to the first case study that we solved for government of Uttar Pradesh, right? So what we are doing over here is we have placed the camera on barricadings, right? Just as you have ANPR camera, and we are identifying what mineral is being carried by the truck and what is its number. Okay, and if the truck is not authorized to carry the mineral or do the mining, then we are sending an alert to the RTO to do a challan for this truck, right? So the problem statement was that unauthorized truck were involved in mining and transporting of minerals and doing a commercial fraud, right? Next. This is a dashboard for managing the inventory and managing the progress of projects at Oil India Civil Branch, Duliajan, Assam. Next. So this is a very simple ML application and analytics application. Coming to face recognition, yeah, this is one of our state-of-the-art tech, and as you can see, this has been used by multiple clients, including companies like L&T, right? So what we do over here is that we give you the state-of-art API, and when you are having a huge database, let's say you're having 4 lakh employees across the location, and you want a very scalable face recognition, there where we comes into picture, right? Next. Document processing, as I was telling that you can manage all your documents using this solution. Again, multiple clients. So we pull the document in the model training engine, and then you get a trained model. This trained model is capable of taking the queries. You can ask, provide me the shipment details, tell me the invoice number, and you will be getting the details, right? In form of a reply or bullet point. Yeah, next. Next. This is again in a computer vision. Chatbots, yeah. So basically, we provide multilingual chatbot, and in fact, we are now providing private LLM bots, right? So as you know, ChatGPT is having problem of hallucinations and it is trained on a global data set, right? We can make the LLM train on your own data set, right? Within the limit of your organization's knowledge, right? So that is basically known as private LLM, right? Next. So coming to our development process, so this is the basic USP that we are having. We start with a diagnostic study. We try to figure out the problem that the client is facing. Then we do solution ideation, and then we do a POC, product trial. Till here, it's free of cost, till POC. Post a successful POC, only we start charging from data collection and notation and model training and full scale application development, right? So we do free POCs for most of our clients. Yeah. Coming to last slide, probably. Yeah. So that was CodeWeb, your upcoming AI partner, right? So we have been at the forefront of AI solution with a dedicated team of 30 people as of now, right? Next. Next, these are client base, current client base. So let's take the future together. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, we'll do questions afterwards.
Okay.
Very good case studies, by the way, very impressive. And how come, what's it been UP? You guys are based over there or something? Or
yeah, it's my hometown basically. So it was during that COVID time, I was at my home and we just began a startup. We approached the US government. We showed them what we can do. This is how it started. Yeah.
very impressive. Okay, we have Toby joining us from the UK and Jalaj, his co-founder, joining from Limera.ai. Are you guys online with us? Toby,
yes.
Jalaj?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Hi, Toby. Buenos dias.
Hi, how are you? Good
Welcome to
everyone.
Bangalore. Welcome to Bangalore online. Yeah.
Well, I was there a couple of weeks ago in person.
The Bangalore Tech Summit?
Yes, we were there.
Yeah, I missed you there. Okay, go on. Yeah.
So, are we present? Do you have the slide deck to present, or do we need to share it?
Manasvi, are you presenting your slides?
You're on mute, Manasvi.
Imera.
Manasvi, you're on mute. Sai, can you help?
Yeah, it's Imera.
Hi, sorry, I didn't realize. Yes.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay, can we have a business plan here? I'll do an introduction of Imera quickly. Samira was founded by 3 surgeons, 2 orthopedic surgeons coming from India, Dr. Krishna Buddha and Dr. Sandesh Lokal. And then we have a radiologist who is coming from Germany, but they all work in the NHS in the UK. And we have another founder who's with us, Jalas Jain. He's the mastermind behind the technology that we're going to show you today.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Okay, so we're going to walk you through quickly what we have to offer and how the solution works and how I think it will work very well in India. That's why we were there at the Big Tech Show. So can we go to the next slide, please? So the problem we have, what we're offering today is a X-ray imaging AI solution. So the problem we're solving is that there is a shortage of radiologists worldwide. There's a backlog of X-rays. And we have already made some inroads. So we have developed a digital platform for imaging processing using AI, okay? And what we're looking for today is 500K to produce or to develop the solution that we think the Indian market would need, which is chest pathology. So that would be extending what we have already today and what we're working with some hospitals, okay? So right now, the Amira solution looks at MSK, which is your shoulder down to your feet, all the bones, okay? We don't do chest pathology, and that's what we're looking for funding today. We want to expand into chest pathology. Further to that, we will look at spine and skull and then dental. That's our roadmap. Now, we have some reseller agreements already in India with a company called Neos, which is an online PACS provider. So that allows us to plug into their solution into any hospital that's using them. That's our gateway in. We can go direct, but we like to go with a PACS provider as well. We have actually managed to annotate 20,000 MSK X-rays manually. Now, this is key because when they looked at an X-ray, they looked at every abnormality on an X-ray. Now, doing that sets us apart from all our competitors right away because they've only done one area, the knee or the chest, okay? Knee and the chest are the popular ones, chest being one, the biggest popular area. But we have a platform now that we can teach and learn to very quickly get another abnormality in there or another area of the body parts, okay? So we look at this market as there's 1.5 billion X-rays a year. Of that, MSK probably represents about 60%. We strive now to become a full one-stop solution for all X-rays, okay? That's what our platform's is being designed to do. So we're well on our way that way. We're looking at the Indian market very closely because it offers us great potential to expand with fewer barriers. Now, we do have MHRA Class 1 certification in the UK, which is very important. We're working on our MHRA Class 2 valid accreditation, and then we will look to further into Europe and the FDA. So in India, we are right now working with a couple hospitals doing trials and tests and work with one teleradiology company. So we're looking now for a round 1, just so that we set the stage for ourselves. Round 1, we're looking to do chest pathology, pneumonia, and tuberculosis being the key for India right now. We see a big market for that, and we like to use that. And then from there, any early investors will get a free ride into the next round where we're going to look to expand across geographies, which we're already making some headways into. Can we go to the next slide, please? So I think the case for AI medical imaging for us is pretty obvious. There are a lot of issues within the hospitals in the NHS, and this gets further exacerbated in India. But if you look at India, there's 1 radiologist per 100K population in India, okay? That's a pretty small ratio to have. Now, what we can do is we can process these X-rays very quickly. And what we can see right now is that the challenges that the medical industry has we can get rid of the backlog, get them to focus on the real important X-rays, so the abnormal, not the normals. If it's normal, we don't need to look at it. But if it's abnormal, we do need to look at it. And more importantly, if there's more than one abnormality found on X-ray, really important to understand that, because a fracture is a fracture, but when you have a fracture and a lesion or other complications that the X-ray picks up, that is then looking and saying, oh, this patient needs to go on 2 pathways. So you right away create efficiency and save money for the hospitals by taking the patient down the right pathways and improves the patient care. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? So we typically do is take the patient's X-ray. Our solution sits in the cloud. You can put in devices as well, but right now we're running out of the cloud, AWS, and we're looking to do with Microsoft. We analyze it, we send it back with all the findings and bindings, and there is the example of what you can see coming out of the X-ray with some detail, and then we can write a report. So we are fast tracking the whole process and almost giving you real-time X-ray analysis and diagnosis there and then when the patient's getting the X-ray. So we can do them under 10 seconds in processing time. Can we go to the next one, please? So here are our competitors. We sit right now on the left, but we have our biggest competitor, Cure AI. They seem to have a good foothold in the NHS, and a recent investor we talked to, investment bank, and they said that we are 2 years ahead of their development. That's because of the great approach that Jalash took in designing the solution and how the doctors approach the X-rays. So we have doctors doing this for doctors. No, it's not a solution, technology solution for doctors. No, it's designed by doctors. And we cover a lot more findings than any of our competitors today. And as I said, it's a platform that we can build and expand, and we're going to become a one-stop solution. And we've tested the market in many different ways, and the feedback is we prefer your solution because we don't have to go find one over here that does ankles, one over here that does knees, another one here that does chest. They want one-stop solution. Can we go to the next slide, please?
Toby, you got 1 minute.
Yes. Question?
No, he says 1 minute remaining.
1 minute left.
Oh, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I apologize. Okay, wrap it up very quickly. Those are the body parts we do. Go to the next slide, please. These are the markets we're going to. Very clearly defined that we have the UK and India. India representing a large volume of X-rays. The next slide, please. That's just our go-to-market strategy, how we plan to go to market, and going through public and private healthcare, and then teleradiologists and equipment manufacturers. Next slide, please. And this is the customer sales and business development pipeline. Josh, do you want to add anything quickly before we end? You're on mute. You're on mute, Josh.
We are a platform. We are not like solving an individual problem in medical X-rays, and our vision is to have one software which can look all take report for the hospital and junior doctors.
Yeah, and if you go to the next couple of slides, scroll through them quickly. That's a roadmap that we have set up for next year and how we're developing and bringing the products forward and the regulations we're going after. And these are the founding members of the management team here. And these are the awards and achievements we've achieved so far. Okay. Does that get us through quickly?
Yeah, that's very good. Thanks, Toby, for finishing on time. Thanks, Toby. Thanks, Jared. We'll go through 2 more pitches and then come to a panel discussion. Yeah, but please do stay online. We're going to have some good feedback for you. We've got a couple of investors and other domain experts here. Thanks, Toby. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm looking now for Jagan. Jagan, are you online? Jagan from edgeable.ai. Yeah, go on. Jagan, you got 5 minutes.
Yeah, basically, my name is Jagan. I'm from Hyderabad. We are a company called Edgeable AI. This is more or less artificial intelligence running on the devices. It's not a normal conventional software. It has AI engine that is running on the exclusive intention of applications like autonomous drone, autonomous cars, or wherever the edge require, wherever the edge computing requires. We are one of the solution provider company for that. So the typical problem for the software AI versus how you deploy the models on the software AI can be complex with a huge modeling and huge use cases. So we come up with an idea of having a engine that perform the deep algorithms inside the hardware block, with along with some kind of processors like Apple or ARM processors, with some kind of a pre-trained models. All the models can be pre-trained based on their use cases and industrial levels, because the models that are running in the software is not are compatible to run the hardware. We need to have some kind of a API level changes in the inside the software to run those models in the software. So if it is a hardware, that means it requires some kind of a hardware enablement software like operating systems, bootloaders, all the computer stuff will come into picture. So we have a single platform to have a solution for those competitive modelings. This is how our platform look like. We have a model engine, that is the left side called engine, that is edge compute module. We can call it as a AI accelerator or neural compute module or neural accelerator. So all these accelerators based on the speed, the speed can be termed as tops, trillion operations per second. There are some kind of speeds like 2 tops, 4 tops, 6 tops, 100 tops, 200 tops, something like that. Say for example, SV700 car is an autonomous ADAS level 2 that has 2 tops. So the module we have right now is we have plenty of classes like 2 tops, 6 tops, and 10 tops with consumer grade, industrial grade, and automotive grade. So the accelerator comes with a software algorithm or software stack that is called OpenAI. So it has an algorithm that runs like a DevOps cycle of taking the hardware with you, and you can build your autonomous drone or cars by taking that accelerator and run the platform, something like this. So far we have trained so many models on the hardware level. We tried the ADAS level 6 and ADAS level autonomous cars, and some in construction areas, some in hospital areas and early fault detection, and some of the 3D vision profiling, like without opening the devices, we coming to identify the models and train them as samples basically. So this is a huge market. We have a huge competitors along with a huge market growth in the coming years because of the autonomicity. So we have had a huge market size, but the only concern is like how you want to have a go-to-market strategy. So this is our business model. We are trying to sell this the accelerator, the hardware, and software as a model APIs. So far we have delivered some of the pilot products to some of the companies. You can see in the middle of the company. Most of the companies are European-based companies which have autonomous. There are some companies who are building the autonomous cars. They have some of our pilot products over there and some of the autonomous drones. The left side you can see there are silicon vendors who are our partners. On the extreme right side we are part of the hub and TM for Telangana mission, and we have one of the startup co-founder in the Microsoft Founders Hub. So these are our key competitor. More or less, NVIDIA Justin is one of our key competitor in terms of hardware and modeling. So other than that, we have a solid level software stack along with the process of different accelerators. So we have some kind of a edge over there basically. So this is one of the typical competitive advantages with respect to existing competitors based on our hardware and software spec basically. So we are a team. One of our co-founders are from Europe and one from China, and we have an hardware engineers in the Europe as well, Italy. So we have a software team in Hyderabad, and we have hardware designers in Hyderabad, and one of our partner from China is helping us in manufacturing terms. So this is what we are looking exclusively. We are looking strategic investment or some kind of a partnership to deploy our solutions to their edge devices or edge computing devices. That's it from my side.
Thanks, Jagan. Thanks a lot. I'm looking for Sachin. Sachin, are you there? Sachin from Teamsoft or Farooq
Yeah.
from?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, Sachin.
Yeah.
Exactly 5 minutes.
Okay. Hello everyone, I'm Sachin from Dreams of Innovations. We are a 3-year-old tech startup from Bangalore. Next slide, please. So we have incorporated in the year of 2019, and we have been into AI development from past 2 years. So we have been building this product called NChat AI. So I'm going to present it. Next slide, please. Part of it is crop. Yeah, the problem that we're addressing is there is a lack of efficient knowledge management within the organizations. A company might have a lot of documentation, paperwork, invoices, any kind of document. So if you want to organize it and if you want to retrieve it, it's very a tedious task. So, for example, there is a HR department and they have a lot of policies for their employees. So if an employee is having specific questions about their policy, they'll have to go back to the documents, find the right page, right clause, and get the answers. Same way, like if a company is having a product and they have a lot of documentation for their user manuals for their particular product, and if a customer wants to know more about their product or how to use it or how to solve an issue, again, it becomes a tedious task to go back to their website, find the relevant answers. So, and also there is inefficient knowledge retrieval process. So normally what happens is company can dump raw data, but getting those data at the right time with very less with less time is very tedious process. Also getting the contextual answer. So a person might have a question in his own mind. It may not be there exactly present keyword by keyword in the document. So if a person is framing his question, and how we can find the right answer within the document, that's one of the problem. So to solve all this, normally the companies, since there is the emergence of LLMs, companies are building their own LLM, their own tools to come across this problem. So what we are doing is we are building a platform where organization can build these kind of bots within few minutes. Next slide, please. Yeah, the solution is called NChat AI. So using our platform, enterprises can onboard their employees. So they can they can create teams within our platform, and they can create projects, upload all raw data. It can be a PDF document, it can be a HTML file, video files, audio files, any kind of raw data. Our bot learns from the data that is uploaded, and we give the organization complete control on how they can fine tune or train the bot. So they can set the persona, how the bot should interact with the visitors or the customers, and they can define the rules. It's all drag and drop interface where they can upload documents, create a bot, deploy it within 5 minutes. And we also provide give an option for complete offline LLM too. So some companies like HAL, they have this private sensitive data. So you can't expose their internal data through a cloud provider, right? So the entire solution can be deployed on their on-prem, on their machines. So that's one of the advantages. And we give multiple connectors. So we can connect to Google Drive, Slack, Microsoft Teams, and we also provide APIs using which the organization can connect the application to their existing CRMs or existing softwares too. And of course, we have real-time speech to text and text to speech. So whoever is using our front end interface, they can talk to the bot with their own voice in their own languages. So we support 14 Indic languages too. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah, it's been close to 8 months since we have started developing this project. We already have running, we are already deployed this with the 5 different companies, and they're able to build bots within minutes. They're able to train the bot, and it's already deployed. Yeah, and of course we support multilingual with contextual answers. So bot also gives the answers. Also, it shows the document from which the answer is fetched from. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah, along with we also have an offering where you can upload and create your own avatars too. So the same solution can be deployed to kiosk machines, as you can see on the right. So I can upload a photo, create a 3D avatar, and I can interact with that bot in real time. So it understands my voice, goes back to the knowledge base the data is trained on, and it responds back with relevant answers. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah. Do we have competitors? Yes, there are multiple chat bot companies who's mainly focus on building chatbots for websites. But we give you entire platform where companies can build chatbots for their internal usage as well as for customer-facing interfaces. Yeah. Thank you. Next slide, please. Yeah, our model is we are mainly targeting B2Bs at the moment, and we have a solution, and the next part is promoting the product and reaching out to the clients and showcasing them the product demos and getting more clients. So we project for a revenue of 2 crores in the first year, going up to 15 crores in the third and fourth year. Yeah, next slide, please. There is a demo video. I'm not sure if it can be played. So as I mentioned, there is like multiple interfaces. Like you can connect, you can talk to the bot in Telegram, web app, chat widget, mobile app, Android and iOS app, even avatar bots, avatar interfaces. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, we are a team of 15 members with close to 6+ years experience in building AR, AI, and VR products. Our team is very good at solving problems and coming up with innovative solutions. Yeah, and next slide, please. Yeah, our solution is already deployed in pharma company like Roche. So what they have done is they have this lot of pharma products which doctors normally normally what doctors will do is they'll go to the website and find answers. So right now we have trained all of their products in our platform so that this using this interface doctors can get answers immediately. Same way we have done it for Intuit, even Toyota, we work in Geo, Tesseract, etc. So we are part of Microsoft for Startups, and also we have showcased this product in Bangalore Tech Summit, IMC, and even global partnership for AI, which happened recently in Delhi. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, this is about the ask to scale the product and to make it ready and so that we can reach more customers. Since this is GPU intensive, we have a lot of investments involved in getting the GPUs and hosting and the cloud. So our ask is for 50 lakhs for 5%. So we have already generated 2.5 crores of revenue in past 2 years. And this is our ask. Yeah. Slide. Yeah, thank you.
Very nice, Sachin. Impressive that you're doing all this based out of Bangalore, competing with the other companies from around the world. Fantastic. Thanks. Thanks, Sachin. I'm going to go Farooq, are you there? Or, yeah. Okay, sorry, sir. I thought you were on there. Great. So this is Farooq Haq, founder of TalentPlace.ai.
Good evening, all of you. So at TalentPlace.ai, what we are trying to do is hiring on a different scale. Currently, the hiring happens on the basis of either the resume of a person or on the basis of skill tests. We are converting that into experience-based hiring. As we know, experience is the biggest teacher that we have. But today, there is no tool to map your experience and define elements out of it or learn out of it that what skills you have learned through your experience. So that's where we are using the AI to do it. So can we start with the next slide? Now, the basic problem statement is that today in the industry, it takes almost 30 to 45 days to source a candidate, let apart the interview and other processes which follow that. So we need to cut it down to a single day, maybe. Now, that single day will happen when we compare the job description of a person with the existing database immediately on instant basis. So as soon as the company posts a job description, we convert it into a digital form and check it with our database and who matches with that kind of role. Now, the matching, as you know, there are a lot of matching engines out there, the ATS, what they are called as, but they depend on the keywords. So they only do the keyword analysis. So if you have the keywords in your resume, they pick your resume and forward it. But we are going much deeper and checking the resume or the digital resume that we call with the job description on 25 or 30 parameters. Most of them come out of your experience. I'll just give you one example that if you're working in Byju's today, when the company is falling, it has a different experience. What you learn is something very different as compared to Byju's when it was growing. So that is what we measure, and that is what we connect you to the opportunities out there. So instead of the job description, which normally happens at the company posts all the job posts and job ads and all on LinkedIn or the other social media channels, we don't need that thing. We have a digital job description on our platform. Similarly, the resumes which are out there are outdated. So we have converted them into something which is a digital resume. This is a print copy of that. I can give you later, full of data analytics and data visualization. Then, of course, there is no matching report out there, but we give the matching report on 25 different parameters. And the shortlisting takes place. So if you're the HR of a company or even an owner, because most of the small and medium enterprises don't have full-time HRs, so owner takes all the decisions. You can put the job description, get all the matching profiles within a single day, and next day you can schedule the interviews and employ those people. So it's as fast as one day. Next slide, please. The market size is huge. Of course, there are many players out there, Naukris and all. LinkedIn is also there. But If you compare the online recruitment process happening today versus the full hiring, the online is hardly 10%. So there's a huge open market which is there to be captured right now. Yeah. And as you can see, the online recruitment market is growing at a much faster pace as compared to the total market out there. So we have a good space there. Next slide, please. The business model is simple. From the employee perspective, it is almost free. You can create your digital profile like this, which gives a very good advantage even to the employees. I can show you this later on, because it tells you how you have moved in your careers and what best you can do next. So that's something which we'll monetize later on. That's in the next pipeline. So we can put the premium plans for that, which will help people analyze their career journeys and take the next best decisions for themselves, which unfortunately LinkedIn doesn't allow. It only connects people. And for companies, of course, we'll have the recruitment plans. Next slide. So we started this around 6 months back on the candidate side, and we have already got 75,000 people on board who have made these career profiles for themselves. We are in talks with a lot of colleges as well. We have tied up with a few institutions, so their college students will make their profiles here. And the company side we launched this month only, a few days back, and we have already onboarded a few startups, and we are in talks with many other companies, and they are all, when they see the product, they are ready to accept it and do the pilot with us. So we have been onboarding every day 2-3 companies. Next slide. So the competition, as I said, but we are very different. Like if you see LinkedIn, it allows the job ads, but the problem of these sites is that anyone can apply. So it is application-based hiring process. People apply to jobs, but we are converting it into database. We have the database of people, so we can directly connect them in instantly. You don't have to wait. You don't have to apply for jobs, because even from employees' perspective, sometimes they don't see the job ads, so they miss out on great opportunities. But we connect them immediately. As soon as we get a profile which matches with, the persona of the person, we connect them instantly. Yeah, next slide, please. So this is our team. I have my co-founder here, Divya Verma. And I'm a chartered accountant by profession, 26 years into coaching for CA classes. I had my own edtech company before this. And I was the first one to launch the pendrive classes in India way back in 2011. And much before Baiju started. But I was in CA education. So scaled across India, scaled that company to more than $1 million revenue for 5 years, and now shifted to the HR tech. Divya is the co-founder, and she is also the president, national president of Wiki, that is the body for women entrepreneurship. And Paul Newman is our advisor from UK. Yeah, next slide, please. So the roadmap, as I told you, so we launched the career profiles, and we have already onboarded 75,000 candidates on our platform. Now we have launched the hiring platform as well, and soon we'll be onboarding a lot of companies, a lot of colleges also coming with us. Then the next in line is skill leaderboards. Skill leaderboard is the next thing that will come. That was on each particular skill, there will be number of employees who can see them and values, see their value in terms of what the value they carry of their skills, derived from their experience. That's the major thing. So it will be the future of IPL, like how the IPL auction takes place. So that sort of thing we are building for the executive level employees. And then, of course, the professional network. So it will be then become the full network of candidates as well as the employers. Next slide, please. So we are here to raise around 600K for this purpose, and also partnering with AI companies who can help us develop our proprietary AI. Right now, we are using the Gen AI, the elements, but if we can tie up with somebody, that would be good. Yeah. So that's it from myself.
Very nice. Thanks. Thanks for it. Thanks, Divya. Thanks for coming. Good. So we're done with the round of startups. What startups are doing in this space. Now let's see what the heavyweights are doing. We've got a whole bunch of corporate speakers telling us what's happening at a very large scale. Thousands of employees using AI. Before we do the quick introductions, Padma needs to log off pretty soon. So I want to ask Padma to speak first, and then we do our introductions over here. Next up, we have Padma. Are you online with us? Yeah, Padma.
Yes,
Bhamidipati is the senior business manager at Infosys, leads many of their L&D developments, is a big champion of knowledge management, sits on CI's Knowledge Council, etc. And you're in Mysore now, or you're sitting in Kurmangala?
I'm sitting, I'm your neighbor and continue to be so. I'm in my house. I wish you would have joined me here, but I would not deprive them. So I know I probably will take less than 3 to 4 minutes, but really thank you for the opportunity, Madan. I think the idea here is to just help you appreciate what's going on in large corporates. And just to add to what Madan introduced me as, I've had the opportunity to be with Infosys for a little over 22 years as part of my 25 years of corporate career. And in addition to the formal learning tracks that I lead in terms of platform and learner engagement, I'm also responsible for micro change when it comes to taking the AI first strategy across the organization. So in that capacity, I think we'll spend the next 2 to 3 slides just helping you appreciate in terms of what's it that Infosys is doing in order to make sure that we become an AI first enterprise. So our offering is titled as Infosys Topaz. You definitely would have seen a lot about it in the media, a couple of deals that we've already bagged under this, working with our clients. And in addition to what this entire effort is, I think for us, when we had initiatives like Cobalt in the past and Topaz right now, the idea is always twofold. The idea is that even before we go to clients, we go to prospects and say, look, this is the next big wave, or this is how we'll make your organization digital first or AI first, it's extremely important for us to have literally walked that talk. And as we do that, it becomes important for us to also appreciate what is it that is required to make sure that we have this meaningful conversation with clients. So as we speak right now, the Infosys Topaz initiative has 2 elements to it. One, what are we doing with clients? And secondly, what are we doing to ourselves? In this whole process, we are 12,000 plus and counting in terms of AI assets. The pre-trained AI models have definitely changed. This data was as of 31st October. It's definitely changed a lot. And most importantly, I think with the recently concluded Responsible AI Summit that we hosted on our campus, the entire conversation around making sure that we have an responsible AI mindset before we even think of taming all of these tools and technologies becomes extremely important. So for us, the core is always to make sure that we are leveraging. I do know that most of the time, the way it is constructed is that humans are out there, and you also have the technology that's coming to tame, or I don't know. I don't think it's going to take jobs as yet, but then that kind of hopefully a hallucination will be busted soon. But for us, it's critical that we leverage and tame these waves with the purpose of accelerating growth, continuing to build connected ecosystems, and always look at unlocking efficiencies at scale. And for us to do that, we have a twofold approach. Like I said, first, how do you ensure that we are making Infosys an AI first enterprise? And then we take that enterprise approach and what we've learned to our clients as well. In this whole process of making Infosys AI first, I think it's critical for us to look at it from a learning or a talent perspective. We've created a skill spectrum where we know that you're going to have consumers of AI and you're going to have creators of AI. And in between, you have folks who are going to be traversing this entire spectrum. As an organization and the team that I represent, which is the Infosys Education, Training and Assessment team, it's my privilege to represent a little over 700 full-time educators who are engaged in training our employees, clients, and also training a little over 76 lakh learners in India through Infosys Springboard. So it's really a very busy day for an average educator. But what we are also doing is co-creating this content in order to make sure that if there is an individual who comes in from functions like finance, marketing, etc., you do know that you have to be AI aware. And that's the set of content, that's the set of accreditations, certifications that you would need to go through so that you really are not ignorant. You do have the right set of content and you're using the right lexicon as well. At the other end of the spectrum, you're also making sure that those techies and deep technologists that we have are actually able to go ahead and create all of this with not just the language, but even the competency that is required. So that's something that we are doing. And as I bring this to a pause, this is something that we've already set out. As we speak right now, we are actually ensuring that every employee, who, as we call ourselves as Infosians, will be AI aware by February 29, 2024. The idea is that you can continue to build on it, but unless and until you don't have a basic appreciation of the technology, of this wave that we are in the midst of for a little over a year, it does become a little difficult. So that's really what we are doing. There's a lot more, and happy to have conversations even outside of this. With that, I'll pause. Thank you.
Thanks, Padma. If you can stay with us, maybe not, we can have some more Q&A after this, but definitely for the next meetings and for the CI Knowledge Summit next, if you come to again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Padma. Cheers. All the best. Yeah, great. Thanks. Okay, good. Let's now come to our next speaker, Balaji. Thanks so much for hosting us again. Now this is your grand stage, full house,
awesome.
online, offline. I think
so I perhaps will stand up for a few minutes, speak a bit about Moss Adams India. As host, we get to do that.
Yeah.
So Moss Adams India, we say that we are a startup with a 110-year-old brand. So we are a firm in the US, 110 years plus, running with a strong legacy and growing. We are into public accounting and consulting. And our chosen market is the west of the US. So it's anything west of Mississippi is our area of dominance. In fact, we go head to head with big fours in our space because you're big EY, KPMG, PwC, and win many of those clients. So we are a mid-market firm, and mid-market firms typically tend to play the surrender game. We don't. We play dominance in the chosen market. In fact, the average, and this I'll be very cautious and respectful, but I just want to throw some perspective. Moss Adams makes 2x the revenue per employee than most big fours do. So it is what it is, right? This is our second year in India, and we are growing. We are growing across assurance, tax, and consulting, our 3 core services. We're also building a strong innovation and technology engine to support the future. Our profession is going through a transformation. So assurance, which is audit basically, plus a few other services, US taxation and consulting, all 3 are seeing tectonic shifts. And we realize without technology and new business models, the future can't be won. That's going to be an important thrust area, but it is a very traditional firm. It is a 110-year-old legacy, just like any established brand. There are ethos, there are secret sauces that the firm prides on, which typically comes in the way of change, right? So that's who we are. But in terms of, and I do want to call out a couple of folks for making this happen on short notice. We have Nachapa, who heads our facilities team, is not in the room right now. We have Imran from our technology team, and who else? Swati and Pradeep, who helped coordinate this. In absentia, I would like to, I know they will be very grateful for the shout out, and great to have you here. Now, speaking about what we are doing with Gen AI and other stuff, given our own scale and size, we are about 4,500 people globally, including close to 300 people in India and growing. Our heavy focus has been on tech products for serving our clients. So Gen AI has been something of an interest for us, just like most other firms. So we have our own version of ChatGPT called the Moss GPT. It is not just a skin on ChatGPT, it's a customized version of the ChatGPT at the most, I think it's a ChatGPT 4. And we are running POCs and proof of concepts and pilots across a variety of use cases, from doing even core tax work, doing comparing balances, trial balances in assurance, people matters, not replacing, but moving towards self-serve using a knowledge base, our go-to-market efforts, risk and compliance, a lot of areas wherever. So we are going big, or we're going small to go big on all the areas that matter to the firm using ChatGPT variant, which is the Moss GPT. So at any given point in time, you are 8 or 9 proof of concepts running. We don't have a huge team. We have a very small team. You can count them within fingers of your hands doing all of this. So we are a startup within a ecosystem. That's what we have done. So happy to answer any questions.
Fantastic. That's it. Anyone else from Plant Thought India, from more channels in the room here? Or?
Yes, we have Arun.
All right, good.
Arun is our head of assurance.
All right.
And we have Anup. Anup is our head of finance. Right. And we also have Imran, who's part of our IT team. Right? I don't think everyone else has kind of, like Elvis, left the building.
Anyway, big thanks again to thanks so much again. Now let's turn to Ved. Ved Prakash is the CKO at Trans, earlier CKO at Wipro and CGI. With some of your thoughts on what you're going to pass, what you guys are doing, what you're doing for. Yeah.
Right. So talking of enterprises, the picture that Padma presented on Infosys Topaz is something that all organizations aspire for, especially in the IT and consulting space, where they are talking of creating this awareness around AI and specifically Gen AI across all the employees. And at the same time, the same approach that you have talked of, identifying the pilots. But now's the time, the piloting has already started. There have been real benefits that have accrued out of those pilots, again, across various functions and departments in the organizations. So now's the time to really scale it up. And that's what probably we are going to start seeing in the coming months. So technology has proven itself. The local LLMs that some of you talked about, they are now again something which has been tried and tested. So that's what we are going to see. And certain other things that organizations need to really prepare themselves for. While there are no immediate job losses going to happen, but even in those pilots, there have been significant productivity improvements that have been noticed, especially where AI is combining with your RPA initiatives. So there are these robotic process automation that has been happening. Put Gen AI on top of that with with the power of your private LLMs. And suddenly you find that entire teams can go redundant. So organizations have while they're aware of it, but they haven't really planned for it. So we talk of upskilling again, Infosys Topaz is upskilling a lot of people in these areas, right? Not just awareness, but also being able to directly build those things. But we need to see, how that shapes up. What are the alternate jobs that are going to come up as a result of this? And the other thing that, again, probably enterprises are not thinking of, but at least, for example, I used to be a programmer. I work for a company called Triance. I've been in knowledge management for 17 years. And before that, I was leading practices and verticals in Wipro. So I was a programmer at one point. Now, today, you have these development platforms where you can create these applications in double quick time. But the basics are missing from a knowledge perspective. Right. I see my own sons, for example. I have two sons. One is a startup and another works in Intuit. And they have these platforms which help with a lot of things. But the core fundamentals of programming, I mean, they are not able to go down to that depth because you have all these platforms where you plug and play. Same with even using the Gen AI tools or RPA, right? Anyone can do it. The way the no-code platforms that have come in. Now, with Gen AI, the dumbing down is going to accelerate. And that's a real fear that is coming in. That we are sort of, increasing our dependence on our own decision-making on these. So if you look at the legal case that happened in New York earlier in the year, where an attorney who was suing one airlines for something, he presented a case in the New York court, and there were some precedences that were cited over there. He had used ChatGPT. It was brand new at that point of time. And the judge really came down hard on the lawyer. But the lawyer did admit that he checked with ChatGPT about whether those cases were valid or not. And ChatGPT very confidently hallucinated and said, yes, these cases do exist. So the dumbing down of our own core skills is something that enterprises should worry about. We have umpteen number of cases now in the manufacturing sector, in the healthcare sector, where dependence on technology is increasing, but the core skills are coming down. Then there are things like radiology, for example, where they've also shown that with the large data sets, So for example, there they talked of 500,000 X-rays being there in the data set. Actually, the machine is doing far better job than an individual radiologist because they have far more data to bank upon and draw those conclusions, check out the patterns and draw the insights, etc. So there are both the pros and cons. One needs to start looking at a lot more. And then one more thing I wanted to point out was, there have been a lot of talk around regulation of AI, right? So for enterprises, this Monday itself a new regulation came out. It was an ISO standard. It's 42001. It actually got released this Monday on 18th of December. So which is a good news for enterprises because it is a standard on AI management systems. So it's not very prescriptive, but it at least draws your attention to various aspects of implementing AI in an organization. And that's important. Where do you start? Then what are the factors that you need to evaluate and take care of? So that takes care of all the data governance part of it, the ethics part of it, etc. At least it draws your attention towards that.
Great. Thanks. Let's now turn to another industry pioneer. We have with us Himanshu Goyal, AI engineering leader at Watson External AI from IBM.
Thank you, Madan, for great panel, great speakers. Learned a lot. Good job. So we are a small team of 250 client engineering people right across the neighborhood here in one of the buildings, D block, and
the one across.
Yeah, just next to the temple, just to be safe with AI. So we just hired this team from 25,000 CVs. I wish I had a tool like this, but we built one on the way. And out of 25,000 CVs, we hired 250 people. We have 198 people on board as of today. We are serving, there's a lot of interest in what's next from enterprise, and your word, absolutely agree. Automation is equal to AI largely across the world. But yeah, we see a lot of interest in US, Europe. Japan is warming up. India is very hot. Asia Pacific is sort of, getting there. The value I see in the market is clients definitely want to do something. How do you qualify that do something is an art and science and strategy, which we struggle with to qualify the pilots based on what we can do. But purely talking about the product side, and very encouraged by seeing what use cases are going around. I think the whole story of LLM, the big, large, small, I think has become, I think it started with the, a Chambal equivalent, dacoits in the valley, and now people are segregating themselves to say that, look, a small LLM does a better job than a large LLM. But the place where we have taken a high leap of faith is across what we definitely knew, having doing machine learning for the last 60 years in a way, or NLP going back in history, is the fact that how do you ensure the client who is going to try this new tool is immune to any dangers around. So I think with our latest model, Granite, which we launched 2 months ago, taken data with truckload of salt, ensured it's clean, tidy, and we're going to an extent to ensure that any impact of a client on any data set which is coming out of a decision from that LLM, we indemnify the clients. We've gone public with that. I think that's a big industry move because data governance, there will some things which will spill off always. So I think we are building the guardrails, and there are a lot of these alliances which are coming around. We're just trying to ensure that we probably, as IBM, is slightly senior to you, 12 years young. But we are just being modest. We're just being very, very practical in terms of what's the impact. I think there's a lot of delusionment which is going to happen in next 1 year. But I think dust will settle to a point where mundane tasks are definitely going the AI way. To give you a very interesting example, if your friend in fact is working in IBM, ask them to go to our intranet and check something called as Ask HR. So we automated an HR tool, and believe me, with 250 people, I don't have an HR partner. I don't have an HR partner. Okay, what I have is an Ask HR tool. Everyone will put a query there. You want to look at your life in IBM, your leaves left, any action you want to do. A manager needs to transfer an employee from point A to B, increase salary. It's all automated, one line command. Just one line command. And I'll not talk about jobs here, but we've just elevated that profile people to something else and let the machine do this real mundane job. So my perspective of AI is a smart SQL command with some knowledge where and automation is today AI. What we'll do later is something which we all will have to innovate and see.
Gives a brief snapshot of where Watson AI is today.
So we launched WatsonX.ai, which is the console of anything you want to do as a solution. It's in full form. I think we've gone to press with the last results that we have. $7 amount of dollar revenue coming from it. We recently launched Watson.governance, which is all about putting the guardrails on how any client data gets cleansed and be used and ensure there's no impact further. And as and when new data comes in, how do we get the clients to cleanse it to ensure there's no impact? We also are in the process of putting together Watson.data, which is a data lake infrastructure for big enterprises to really manage their data, cleanse their data. And again, the bottom line is that it uses all the old tools. Nothing is going away. The database still exists as it was. The Excel sheet still exists in the way it was. The ELT still happens the way it was. But it's just that you have a better mechanism cleanse and modify it for any misuse. So definitely, and IBM is getting very big on it. Like we heard from friends from Infosys, and others. Skilling, very important. Need to know the language to talk to the client. Need to know the understanding and perspective to understand. IBM Consulting is our biggest partner going forward with clients, and of course we work with all our GSIs out of India and globally to. And I, by the way, lead the Japanese pillar in this. So I have my colleagues here, Dr. Chester, Dr. Savita, we have Gautam in red t-shirt. So this is the first time in India we've hired Japanese-speaking AI engineers working out of Bangalore, serving clients in Japan. You want to show your Japanese skills?
I didn't understand now. There's no meaning to speak.
Okay, cool. He's being modest. So yeah, so that's the first from us, and we have Spanish, Japanese, German, Italian, Portuguese, and of course all Indian languages probably, which are available in this team.
Wow, fantastic. Very based out of Bangalore, huh? Just right on. They're building just. Fantastic. Good. We're about halfway through now. Let's turn to Deepak to give us a snapshot of what's happening in content here.
Sure. Thanks for having me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Deepak Das, and I'm representing Grant Thornton. Very similar to Moss Adams. They have just completed 100 years. We are also a large accounting and consulting organization. And I think our stand as far as generative AI has been very cautiously optimistic. We are just waiting and watching what's happening in this space. And before we go out and talk to our client and sell some of these services, we are trying to walk the talk internally. And I've been part of those internal initiatives. And one of the things which we are trying to do is create Ask HR, not to elevate, not to eliminate HR, but really improve the employee experience across the board. That has been our vision, and we have made some really good progress. And all of this is happening in-house. I have a team of a couple of people who are part of KM and working closely with folks in a larger organization, which I'm part of, called Enterprise Transformation. So that's one of the focus area. And the other focus area has been really around content. We do create a ton of content day in, day out, and people spend a lot of time creating that content. So we are creating a proof of concept. So this proof of concept is really going to tap into the wisdom and the knowledge which exists within the system and review a draft. And as a content expert, you can look at that draft and further refine it. So these are some of the proof of concept which have been involved. Outside of that, I think our service lines, we're partnering with our service line on two other proof of concept. One is tax. In the tax area, tax has a lot of regulatory, complex, cut and dry language, right? It takes a lot of time for our tax professional to really understand what it is so that they can have a meaningful conversation with our clients. So we are trying to build something which really summarizes it. Well, ChatGPT has done a phenomenal job of that. So something similar to that. And audit and assurance, they rely heavily on methods to serve the client. So we're tapping onto proof of concept to help them instantly when they're doing some of these work. So that's where we are. Happy to answer it.
Fantastic. Thanks. Good. Now we come to the next segment of the panel. We've got three very different speakers now. We've got an investor with us now. Rajiv Raghunandan is the managing partner at Arali Ventures. So, Rajiv, what's the view from an investor? Where's the real money? Where's the ROI? And what can startups do to engage with corporates? You want the corporate view. So, what does it take for a startup to break into?
Right. No, so thanks, Madan, for having me over. Smiling to myself when you said we have a small team of champions. In our world, small, I mean, it's a very different definition of small that we have. So, like Madan said, I run a VC fund called homegrown VC fund called Arali Ventures, which we co-founded about 6-7 years ago. So we invest in B2B tech companies, right? So given the whole wave of Gen AI, I'm not going to say here that we invest in AI companies or Gen AI companies. We don't have that lens. The lens we have is, are there companies or products and solutions that are building B2B products, which are relevant and add business value. Right? So from day one, we've said we are a fund that invest in deep value companies and not necessarily deep tech companies. Right? Okay. A lot of our companies end up being deep tech, but that's not the lens at which that we looked at it. So having said that, like I said, a lot of the investee companies or targets happen to be, AI driven, happen to be Gen AI driven. Just to try and maybe briefly summarize our perspective or even some of the startups that presented. I think the summation of our experience just by interacting with so many companies, there are a bunch of companies that are building AI-based solutions, right, and Gen AI-based solutions. If you look at it at 4 levels, there are people who are playing at the infra level, right? That's not startups typically. That's really large players like NVIDIA, like Microsoft, like IBM, and the like. And that space is taken, right? Infra needs large capital, and I don't think any startups are really attempting at the infra level. You could argue, and this is a simplistic kind of framework, right, for obvious reasons. So the second level is, you could say, is the model level, right? We are building models and you're deploying it on infra, and models could have wide-ranging applications, right? These could be models that are built on top of non-proprietary LLMs. It could be even you're building those kind of models. Again, there we feel there you start to see startup activity. In general, I think that layer is also going to be capital intensive. We think that space is going to be taken by the big boys who have capital, but more importantly have distribution jobs, right? So I think we shudder to look at, or let's say look at companies that are playing in the model space, right? And models are for wide. So I think there was one of the companies that presented is in the model space. So I think it is a deep capital game. It's a deep distribution game. So they will have to quickly partner with folks who can then take their models and resell, right? So I think that's the second thing, the second level. The third level is what we see is people have built solutions on top of models, have used models and built solutions which are horizontal in nature, right? I think Farooq's example is there, right? So I think there you see a lot more startups operating with horizontal solutions. Our view has been that, it's not a view, it's an experience, right? Keep learning. I think the hesitation as a classic VC fund, and we are relatively a smaller fund, right? We're a 300 crore fund in our second fund. We're not like a $300 million fund, right? Which possibly has a lot more capital at its disposal. Our thing about horizontal based solutions is the fact that the question we have to always ask ourselves is, like, if your HR-based solution is, which large HR ERP could turn this on as an ERP, as a feature, right? That very often is the risk that a horizontal Gen AI or an AI-based solution has, is, can a large incumbent solution, if it's a finance, area, can an FNA, finance and accounting ERP, switch the solution on it? May not be, because large companies struggle, right? But maybe then the go-to-market is, can you, like in your case, like I was just thinking, right? And we've seen solutions like yours saying that, can you partner with ATSs, right? Can ATS be your primary customer? Because then you take a lot of resistance and friction away from your go-to-market. As opposed to you, let's say, approaching an IBM or a large enterprise who are your real users, right? Chances are they've got an internal team that's building it out, right? But for their internal use. But then there is an ATS that would power the larger IBM hiring engine. If you partner with that ATS, it doesn't matter whether Himanshu is building something, the overall enterprise will adopt, right? So I think that's the thing with horizontal solutions. I think our focus, if at all, with GenAI, and one of the companies that we have invested in is a company called PyBit, is at the fourth level, if you will. By level, I don't mean it's the superior level, it's just a classification, is vertical solutions that are building on top of non-proprietary, proprietary LLMs, but are building specificity to a industry use case, to a vertical use case, right? And not only building specificity from a context perspective, but are also building other bells and whistles relevant to an industry use case. That could be a pure workflow bells and whistles. It could be a document management bells and whistles. One of this company that we've invested in called Pivot is building automation for commercial insurance underwriting, right? In the US market. So commercial insurance is really property, motor, business insurance, right? The inputs to the underwriter are very manual even today. Past losses, right? Past losses are documents, emails, PDFs, Excel files. All of that has to be ingested, and then is in the mid-market insurance market is very largely a manual process, right? There is automation, but great application for AI. Ingest all of it, but then it's not just about the ingestion, right? It is about then, can you put a workflow solution that is relevant for the insurance, commercial insurance market for underwriter, right? So we think this layer or this sliver is less capex intensive, right? It's kind of marrying SaaS and generative AI with a lot less capital. Hence, that kind of excites us, right? We've invested in a company, I won't say it's generative AI, it's simple AI, right? Because there's too much jargon that flies around also. They've built a solution for industries such as mining, resources, infra, which are very large spread, manual intensive, but also involves a lot of machinery, a lot of risk to employees, right? And industrial traffic management. These guys essentially are a computer vision based solution. They're using the computer vision feeds and built models on top of it. And what they're taking to market is an employee workplace safety solution for mining, right? So it's a contextualized solution, right? The tech heaviness quotient of the model may not be high, but they have built tech solutions for industries that have not seen strong digitization, right? That excites us because that's deep value, right? Whether the tech is deep or not, frankly, I won't say I don't care, because that's a part of the moat. But the Coal India Limited chairman doesn't care how much Gen AI quotient is there. He's saying, are you solving my problem? He has 35 people in a single shift, 3-shift operation. He pays for 150 people who are just doing audit of, is there enough light in the mine at various places, right? Are employees following workplace safety norms as per this thing? But all of that, right? That entire team gets automated. Of course, there is cost reduction, but it's also about more consistency and predictability. Anyway, long thing, but that's from a startup perspective. That's our framework. In fact, my partner Arun has, as part of our newsletter, I think in July, has blogged this framework. So I'm just kind of copying most of what he's written. But please feel free. Our handle on LinkedIn, our blog post. Some of you can read this stuff.
No, very good input for corporates also to engage in.
Yeah, of course, corporates are far more mature, but yeah.
Good. We also have with us a speaker who joined us a few months ago at another event. So I thought it'd be very good to invite him again. Prashant. Prashant is a partner at Kingstub and sorry. So tell us a little bit about law, ethics, all that came up.
Yeah, thanks.
So tell us about maybe the global and the Indian split this way.
Definitely. Thanks so much, Madan. Lovely to be back. Technically in India, there is no specific legal framework as yet, but the Niti Aayog has been speaking about this. They've come out with 7 kind of principles. They all are in and around responsibility, about safety, about ensuring that bias doesn't creep in, etc. Um, uh, and you had spoken about that case in the United States. Very interesting because I had read about that as well.
There's also the deepfakes thing in India, which happened.
Yes, that's been going on as well. But specifically about this particular case, while the court did censor the lawyer, and it was a fantastic example of how hallucination sort of crept in, and the AI engine with certainty said that these precedents do exist. So they had a $5,000 fine, etc. And the court did opine that yes, lawyers can use generative AI, but since they are the gatekeepers of the ethical part of the profession of law, so therefore they need to double check it. So they didn't bar lawyers from using sort of generative AI. That being said, primarily, the ethical issues are around the responsibility part and the bias part. These are the two sort of main issues from a legal perspective. Both of them have been sort of discussed enough times, etc. And while right now there is nothing concrete that is there, TRAI, which is the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, they have come out with a recommendation, and around leveraging artificial intelligence and big data in telecommunication sector. This was in July, and they want to set up an authority called Artificial Intelligence and Data Authority of India, AIDAI, something like any other authority like TRAI or SEBI, or for each particular sector, IRDAI, etc. That's still not happened yet, but hopefully it will come up. Now, the most recent development that has happened as recent as earlier this month is there was this AI Act which was in work in the European Union. This was mooted first in 2020. There were a lot of discussions amongst the member states with the stakeholders, large companies, small companies, etc. But as recently as earlier in December, all the parties have sort of kind of decided on what the act will be. So it's been frozen. It's not been brought into effect. But the good thing is that we have now a framework which may be used by other countries as well, including India. Now, why I am saying this with so much confidence is that EU was the first sort of group of countries which came out with GDPR, for the protection of personal data, etc. And based on that, different countries sort of had their own laws coming out, including India, which had the DPDP, the Data Privacy and Protection Act, which came from GDPR. And so therefore there is a a big school of thought which is saying that based on this AI Act, the Indian Act which will come at some point in time, there is a talk about a Digital India Act as well. Now, whether that will have components of AI, and what this AI Act in EU has sort of brought in force, left to be seen. But just wanted to touch upon a couple of things that the AI Act itself has, the European Union AI Act has sort of pushed the envelope on, because I'm sure that that's what we will see in India as well some point in time. And the way things are moving, and the way the astronomical speed at which AI has sort of come across different sectors, positions, etc. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes as soon as next year as well. Yeah, your guess as good as mine, but we'll see about that. So what the AI Act, at least, they want to ensure that there is transparency, there's ethical use of AI, and they want to ensure that the companies which are using AI, they need to notify the users, the people that they are interacting with a chatbot, or they are interacting with some biometric categorization, or there's an emotion recognition system. So it should not be that the person who is using a particular interface is unaware of whether there is a human element behind that, or whether there is an AI element, which is learning from their interaction, etc. So that's one thing that they've come out with the rules that they need to notify it. It cannot be a black box sort of. Other thing is that they essentially want to mitigate harm. That's the core principle on which the AI Act has been drafted. While using AI, there's of course chances of harm coming about. The fundamental rights, especially in sectors like healthcare or very personal data, your financial information, etc. Coming into play. Those kind of things they want to ensure that those companies which are using AI in those areas, they are controlled. They need to notify, and there are certain areas in which AI has not been allowed. Stuff like predictive policing, or where the AI will be using your emotions, etc., to manipulate you. So those kind of activities are completely banned under this act. Yes, like I mentioned, since 2020 and 2023, there was a lot of discussions and lobbying with the stakeholders, including large companies, etc., the likes of ChatGPTs and Google's Gemini model, etc. So some wiggle room has been given to them. So what the major restrictions that have been placed on certain models is only with respect to the really large models. So now, but it's left for the company to decide what is a large model and not. Maybe they will come out with a specific definition on what exactly a large model, what is a small model. But the idea was to sort of capture the Geminis and the GPTs of the world. Yeah. They're also setting up a sort of European AI office who will do the enforcement, who will do the monitoring, and who will do penalties, etc. And penalties are quite steep as well. It's about, for non-compliance, it's about 1.5% to 7% of the firm's global sales turnover, depending on the severity of the offense. Again, under GDPR as well, if you'd be aware, the fines are exemplary. So the same model is being used here as well. National security, they have made some carve-outs, of course, and as and when this model comes to India, we expect the same to be happening in India as well. And especially in India, there will be more sections of the usage of AI which will come under the national security umbrella, and therefore it will be outside the scope of the AI Act in India. But in case of EU, while they have tried to cover a fair bit under this national security umbrella, but a couple of countries like France, etc., have been pushing back on that. They want to use certain models for anti-terrorism sort of activities and anti-money laundering activities as well. But other than that, stuff like predictive policing, which is more like the Minority Report kind of concept that we saw with many years ago. But that kind of modeling has not been allowed. And if someone uses it, of course, there will be exemplary damages, etc., etc. So that's the most recent sort of development that I wanted to highlight. What they have said is that once the act is brought into force, there will be 2 years would be given for the implementation of the rules, and the ban on AI will apply after 6 months of the date on which the AI Act is made effective. So that's the biggest change that from a legal and regulatory standpoint that we've seen. And since following on the footsteps of GDPR and therefore the DPDP Act coming into India with, of course, major changes and localization in India, expect that something on the model of the AI Act, which has come into effect in EU, will happen in India as well, including all these safeguards, etc. Come into place.
Thanks. Good. We've got about half an hour left. Who else do we have in the room? Just tell us who you are.
I'm Dr. Teshna. So I've just joined the What's Next team with Himanshu. Yeah, before that, so all through my career, I've been associated with AI, data science. Earlier, I was working with PwC, SAS. So that's been the profile. But pretty interesting use cases that I'm hearing of here, and really look forward to working in these surveys.
Very nice, thanks. Yes, sir.
I'm Xerxes Mystery. So I used to work with Infosys for like 1.5 years, and then I was completely assigned with the projects related to artificial intelligence. So from there, my interest spiked a lot. So for that, I wanted to get exposed to this AI tech. So I pursued my master's from UK. And then I got a wonderful opportunity from IBM as an AI engineer out here. So I just joined this 2 years back out here with the What's Next team, and in the Americas pillar. So I'm really looking forward to all these things related to AI and the advancements in AGI and all these things. Quite interesting.
Hi, my name is Ablash. I was with Grant Thornton before, so I already know these guys. So I was working in knowledge management innovation, where we developed building solutions and products. Last year, I was with Grant Thornton UK, where I was helping in setting up the digital hub, where we were doing the low-code, no-code products. We were also implementing the data analytics platforms. So that was my core work last year. But right now, I'm on vacation, in the process of switching jobs.
You go to the right place.
Vacation in Bangalore? Yeah, I moved to Bangalore.
Yeah.
Hi, Arun. I in fact joined this week. Prior to that, I was with Ernst & Young, and in their assurance services, I was part of EY New York, and I'm coming in directly from EY New York here. Before that, I was with EY Shared Services at Bangalore, or Delivery Services at Bangalore. I mean, and AI and it has always interested in terms of automation. I know assurance is probably one of the last legs of all the consulting firms to catch on any automation, primarily because of the regulatory nature, and you need to dig up after 8 years also, why did you do that? So that's probably one of the reasons it catches up last. So even if you write an Excel macro, you have to document why and how that Excel macro works. So that's a big piece of backwork that happens, even if you use that, or even an Alteryx solution, for example. You use it at 10 places, but you have to document and explain in detail how that Alteryx solution works at one place. So that's the level of pace at which automation typically catches up at assurance service line as such. But it's it's something that cannot be ignored. Where quantum jumps can also happen is in terms of how data is being processed in assurance services, right? For example, we analyze volumes and volumes of data in terms of journal entry testing, for example. It's a mandatory procedure. So if you look at any of the firms, large companies, you have millions and millions of lines of data which you need to process and identify the key risk areas that you can dig on further.
Yeah.
AI can be a wonderful example there. So there will be a lot of use cases as the technology develops, as and when the capability to process those volumes of data also start developing. So I think that's what I have learned. I know I have looked at from how a Big Four, and now I will look at from how Moss Adams looks at it. But yes, it's definitely one of the top agendas for any of.
Konnichiwa.
In Japanese.
Few keywords. That's all.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Gautam. Currently, I'm supporting the AI engineer in MXR team. So before that, I was supporting also IBM project only, workforce management. 7.5 years continuously supported by IBM. Part of that is also Japan project. So sitting in India and supporting Japan project. So before that, I was working in the Honda and Toyota as a business coordinator, plus translator, plus interpreter. So that time I used to go to Japan engineer with the Indian vendors, different kind of vendors and different places, different locations like Chandigarh, Delhi, Pune, Chennai, and Gujarat. especially Sudan. And that time we give the presentation about Indian product as well as the requirement of a Japanese client. So that time also I presented in both English as well as Japanese languages. So we got a lot of experience how to deal with the Japanese client, what the requirement, and how they check the quality. Actually, they put 100% perfect quality. There's no defect. Even 1% they detect, they reject the product. And also they are culturally oriented. So they prefer to culture. So the top most person who's aged person we should respect, even if they are technically or position wise low, but the aged person we should respect them. So I got a lot of experience still only in India, not out of India, and focused on our ultimate aim should be to quality related. So 100% focus on quality, not on quantity. So what I experienced now, I'll apply to an AI engineer. What's next product for myself? Thank you so much. Thanks.
I'm Dr. Savita. So I joined recently with the Himanshu team. And what's next? Prior to that, I was in Wipro, mainly working with Apple engagements. I was mainly focusing on Apple engagements for the Wipro thing. And I worked for government sector, so I was in CPRI and ETDC for some time. Before that, I was a professor for some time. So my focus, like I have written some of the papers on AI ethics as well, the governance, like I went for some of the conferences to speak about the AI governance and regulatory thing. And sometime I opened a startup also, I closed it. So this is how my journey is. I have a total of 14 years of experience. With this, all I have seen.
But we have someone from Japan online. He was asking, I'm connecting his afterwards. Yeah.
Me. Okay, folks. So I used to work in Watson Labs, 25 years. So when I started my career, I was
Part of the family.
yeah, no longer there, but it was fun. So started my career in AI, like machine vision and all this stuff, and I was very interested in making machines intelligent. And that was the big challenge at that time. So after 25 years, I said, okay, this is a known process. Let me move on to something else. So I wanted to make human beings intelligent. Oh, that's after about 8 years, I think it's tough. Actually, much easier to make machines intelligent. And we have seen phenomenal progress in the last few years. And one thing that just concerns me is just like I was watching this TV program a couple of days ago, and one of the former, I think, CFO of Infosys, he was saying that out of, let's say, 1 lakh engineers that India is producing, only half of them are worthy of an engineering career, and the other can go and drive Ola and Uber. That's his word. Yesterday, in the Times of India, I saw only 10% of the graduating class of whatever, 18 lakh engineers here is going to get a job. 10%. What about the other 90%? Does that mean they're not employable? Does that mean that jobs are not there? What's going to happen to them? Or is the education not good enough? I mean, are they not worthy of being an engineering graduate? I just think this is a concerning thing, and I think it's global. It's not just India, but we do have a lot of people that are being educated, and we don't know what to do with that. And in the US, I work in the US, tons of graduates in humanities, English literature, they're just literally closing down these departments in many universities because not enough students are enrolling. But I do think all these fields are important, but I think it's a local challenge. What are we going to do with this enormous population? And in the face of these good tools like AI, so like, well, what do you need these people? You just let a machine do it. It's going to be much better. No hassle to deal with personality, like, please provide me this report. You just say, okay, like you were saying, just one SQL query, finished, end of story. You get the answer you want.
From HR.
Sorry. No, I'm just saying that, I mean, we used to have a secretary before COVID in our department. She left, and that's fine. We don't need that. What is the point? So there are a lot of these things that are going to go, and I think we have to think as a society what's going to happen to it.
Yeah.
Even the government job, just 1,000, for example, UPSC.
Yeah.
So for 1,000 post, 5 lakh, 6 lakh is a CT for that.
Yeah.
and apply for 10 lakh. What are those who's not qualified?
Yeah.
But 4,89,099.
Let's be last couple of years.
I am Anup and I am part of most of the team. I head the finance here and I'm a chartered accountant by profession and looking forward to this communities like this. The first time I'm attending something like this. In my experience on AI tool is like prior to that I was in Airtel where you have massive of people, right? And they used to be giving offers to a segment, right? Or a big bunch of people, right? Now, what they did is that one customer is a number for them, but that customer can be uniquely identified through AI, saying what that customer wants and what his preference is. So they built all the channels in terms of what he's looking at and what he's asking in terms of when he's calling to the call center. So they profile the customer and they give option to the customer in terms of VAS services, anything, right? Which that customer can really pick that, right? So that is how AI, my earlier days of experience is that how it has come up, right? So it's growing and it's massive, right? You can do wonders with that. But at the same time, like he mentioned, there has to be like the guardrails should be there. There is some kind of ethics should be there. And looking forward to it.
Very nice. Yeah, when you were outside.
I'm Nachappa. I manage real estate and facility for Mosaics.
Hi, my name is Abhijit. I work with Vinay, Sai, and Manasvi, who are actually online now. I've been working with them for the last 7.5, 8 years. I've also worked closely with Madan a few times as well, and it's at his behest that I'm here. I've also worked with, I think some of you said RPAs and machine learning and stuff like that. I've worked with RPA technology before, seen firsthand what it can do. And the kind of disruption that it can have, especially on the, I think, accounting, finance, reconciliation, and stuff like that. I find that very cool, very interesting. Right now, I'm, as an enthusiast, I'm trying to figure out where at which point there would be human intervention in terms of AI, because you cannot let the thing run by itself. There will have to be human intervention. I'm trying to figure out how that can happen at this point in time. So that's about it.
Shuttling between Manila and
maybe.
Yeah. Okay, good. We've got about 20-25 minutes left. We're a small group over here, about 20 people here, 15 online, and discussing, as you said, what's emerging in the field of AI. What's very interesting now is we've got this big forum coming up in a few months, CII's Global Knowledge Summit. So they've also asked us to give some inputs on how to accelerate the AI ecosystem of India. And Ved, you want to lead this discussion now? What are some topics that we can come up with? How have previous CI summits worked, and how to scale up today's discussion to a national and global platform, perhaps? Yeah.
Right. So, how many of you have heard of CII Global Summit, Global Knowledge Summit?
A few.
A few of you. Okay, that's good to know about. So every year, this is an annual summit. It's a flagship event of CII, typically hosted out of Bangalore. Earlier, it used to be hosted out of Delhi, Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, etc.
Varanasi, don't forget.
Even Varanasi. Thanks, Balaji. Yeah. Right. So there is a committee, a core committee, comprising of nominees from CII as well as from the industry and academia. Right. So we're just kickstarting discussions on the Global Knowledge Summit for next year. And typically we have a theme for the summit, and then all the sessions are organized around. So the last few years, we have actually sort of piggybacked on AI as well, right? But then it becomes more and more focused with every passing year. So prior to that, we had something on metaverse when that was the buzzword. And we saw a lot of startups as well as industry use cases that came out as a result of that, including the intersection with the knowledge economy, because it's the knowledge management professionals who actually lead that summit, right? So for the coming year, now that we are seeing a lot more advancements happening.
This year was Gen AI.
It was Gen AI, yeah. So in 2023, it was Gen AI. Before that, it was Metaverse. Prior to that, do you remember what it was?
No idea.
Sorry about that.
This year, most of the things was Gen AI. All
Right.
conferences, all summits were.
I think 3 years back with this pandemic time. So we did something on digital.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah.
Industry 4.2 was it?
Maybe, yeah. Could be that. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So now everybody was working in a remote mode. So it was something around that. Right. So just wanted to sort of get some ideas from you in terms of how could we frame the theme. The summit itself happens in the time frame of March, April. Actually, last 2 years we had it in July, but otherwise March, April is the time frame when it happens. Right. That is CII, which fits it into their very vast calendar. So CII as a industry body organizes a lot of different events, and they can be really large scale as well, because they are implicitly supported by the central and state governments. So we have ministers coming in, we have bureaucrats coming in, we have top leaders coming in to speak and share their thoughts. So when we talk of AI, and specifically with respect to AI for the knowledge economy, that's where I thought it would be good to see if there are some themes that come to your mind. But then you could take a note of it, but then is the and we can then take it forward with the rest of the committee.
So probably I would like to add a point, like we have been talking for so long, and even like Prashant, right?
Yes.
So here Prashant talked a lot about like who is responsible for the AI's behavior or AI's inference that it is giving. So, like even before Gen AI came into picture, there was another term which was being sold by most of the AI companies. That was responsible AI. We all have heard about it, right? That if we're using AI in some kind of medical diagnosis, the result that you're giving, who is accountable if it is wrong? Who is accountable if it is right? Right. So, what I should believe is that this is something which should be discussed now, because, now is the time when AI is being adopted by all of the industries. So, enterprises should have a question to their vendors and probably their tech partners and even to their own in-house tech teams that, okay, whether your AI is the responsible AI or not. Like whenever you are downloading any app, you have a privacy policy. Most of us don't tend to read it, right? And while you're chatting with Zomato bot, like you don't know that, okay, whatever response you're getting, who's accountable for it, right? And what kind of accountability is Zomato giving on the responses? So currently Zomato is not using 100% AI. It is basically a rule-based bot, but down the line, there will be a bot sitting behind and which will be just expressing the like as we humans, like we humans have a wisdom to understand others' problem and apart from the conventional intelligence, right? So that is what the LLM is approaching for to build that. So, like I would like to give this topic that brings something around responsible AI and
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
Jan 4th, 5th, 6th in IIT Chennai also the same topic they are discussing. AI, ethics, governance, responsible AI. So these 3 days it is already there. Jan first week.
What I believe is like responsible AI was just something which was going across all the companies. We were discussing it very actively. In fact, the conferences conducted by Fractal, New Sigma, and all these analytics firms we were discussing, and even IBM, right? But what happened is then this ChatGPT was launched, and it was approximately an year ago, right? And sometime in around November, December, right? And the ChatGPT brought this term Gen AI. And then Gen AI just took over the responsible AI, and everyone is now Gen AI. No one is talking about responsible AI. This is what I see currently. Right.
And then there's explainable AI as well.
Right.
Yeah. So how do you, the same legal case, for example, I mean, shows the references from where have you come up with this summarization. So explainable AI is something that a lot of LLMs are now working towards. Right. So some of those newer paradigms are emerging.
Yeah. We also have Professor Molly online. Molly, are you there? Can you tell us what are some topics you'd like to hear about? Molly is a professor at the MLN School of Management in Bangalore. A big fan of knowledge management, a big evangelist, and also one of the very rare academics who brings industry, government, and academia together for this.
And she's a PhD in knowledge management.
And also be a Dr. Molly in knowledge management. She normally comes for a physical events physically and brings goodies from by the way, which include cakes and all this stuff.
Cakes and cookies.
I'm disappointed when you mentioned she's joining online.
Yeah, and she said she's joining. We all said yes, but then she said online. Okay, Molly, floor is yours.
Yeah. Hi, everyone, and good evening from the small town of Mangalore. Pre-COVID, I was a regular at all the meetings, and now, should I say, how COVID has blocked me from coming there more often because the facility is available to come online. I do miss our personal interactions because it used to be after the first meeting, it used to always be the chai shop. What do we used to call that?
Chai points, chayos.
Chai point.
Sometimes toit or vapor, depending on the mood and the budget.
Yeah. So I have a couple of things. I have been associated with the K community for the last 17 years. Thanks to Madan. Madan helped me with my PhD, introduced me, and I think that was a great help because of which I was able to complete my PhD in knowledge management. So I'm still into academics. At MSNIM, that is Manil Srinivas Naik Institute of Management, we are coming up with two very important things in AI. International conference, which is scheduled for June, is on adoption of AI opportunities and challenges. So this is, we would definitely want the industry and all of you to also participate, maybe by case studies, you could contribute research papers and also have case studies, which will add a lot of value to the academicians because what is really happening, you guys are practicing it, and it's important that the academic world also knows what's happening in the industry. The industry definitely is ahead of academics, and how it impacts the industry is what we definitely would like to discuss at the conference. We always have a panel for the industry where generally it is moderated by Madan. So I would look forward to a lot of you participating in that. We also have a certificate course that we have designed this year for our students on AI, so that the students, when they come into the industry, are aware of the various things that in what way AI impacts the industry, business, and what is it that they should be fully aware of. So these are two very essential things, I think, essential things that we do at our institute. And yes, usually December used to be our starting point for planning our summits. And it used to always start with the Christmas cake and all the cookies. Next time you will have it, we'll kick off the summit first meeting in Mangalore and enjoy all the goodies. We will have an academician corner or an academician session in the summit because that's also an important part of the learning process for the students who come in, and I think academics plays a very important role. So these are my 2 cents and what I would like to speak on AI and at this session. Thank you, Madan. Thank you, Ved. And if Balaji is there,
yeah, he's there.
I'm here.
Yes.
Great, thanks, Molly. In fact, I met Molly last week in Mangalore. She gave me some good cashew nut treats, but sorry, Molly, I had some guests at home. It's all finished now, so I would have to bring it here otherwise. Okay, good. So we have another 10 minutes or so. Any other suggestions, questions on top?
I have a recommendation. So I'm at a very interesting vantage point, right? I've been almost a career KMer, moved to business. So I don't now pedal KM in my firm. KM gets pedaled to me, right? And if you just look back in the last 4 or 5 years, the conferences or summits agenda has started to shift from the core KM, right? So it gives heartburns to a lot of core KMers. A lot of them don't speak up; they speak behind in the breakouts in the conferences. I want to bring that voice up. I can also tell that a lot of executives in at least large accounting firms, they are really finding it hard to figure out this Gen AI, what it could do in terms of data governance, because there are almost technologies have taken center stage in this narrative, and the business leaders are figuring out what it means for them. So if you can use this platform to educate, say, a CKO or the KMers, or people who operate in that solutioning space for knowledge needs of organizations, to understand Gen AI, the risks associated with it, what are the guardrails and safeguards we can put in place, communicate. I think that will be a very well-served approach, because we all know this train has left the station. We can't, like, you're on board or not, right? So how do we accelerate adoption? But there are a lot of worries and scares that executives will have, chief risk officers would have. How can we assuage that fear? Because we keep talking about how great, like we spoke about how great metaverse is, and then how great Gen AI is. We can help arm our KMers. We have those conversations with their respective C-suites as part of the session. Maybe there's a thread. I think that would help.
Yeah.
That's in it for a KMer.
Sure.
So
Bring the focus back.
Yeah.
We definitely will have a startup panel as we consider also. We haven't had investors yet, so maybe we can have an investor panel. You know, how do you grow the whole process? I put you in charge of that. I volunteer you in charge of that. Any other suggestions, comment?
Probably we could discuss, like for example, we've been talking about a lot of governance, a lot of risks associated with Gen AI, but to different industries, these risks could mean different things, right? For example, for a healthcare, probably the risk is much higher as compared to something like a finance, right? So probably, an industry perspective towards these risks could actually be.
Yeah, actually, maybe like it's starting itself, everybody is talking about this AI explainability, trustworthy, these things only, ethics, government. I think maybe that would be the main factor.
Good, Prashant. We put you in charge of that. Taking committee of AI.
Happy to do that, yeah.
Great. What is left in the agenda? There was government kind of stuff. No, what is the government doing?
The
We
government.
often get the state government, the Karnataka guys to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they have a COE for AI or something, right? So we can get one of them to speak.
Right. Yeah. So at a national level also, there is something being set up, just like it has been set up in UK and EU. You talked about the EU
And
Act.
Chinese also released a right act regulatory.
They have something to that effect.
Yeah, they have released after this EU.
Yeah.
European Act
Yeah.
has come no later. They have also released the right, but it mainly they focus on some small extent, not completely, like covering full AI.
Right. Yeah. So India is actually taking a lead, just like our Prime Minister takes on a lot of things. Is that having a universal sort of universal framework for AI? Because it can go rogue as well, even though it hasn't happened, but the risk is there. Right. So Modi at his level is also trying to drive something universal instead of having these bits and pieces in EU, in UK, in US, in China.
And I think last week Delhi, there was some discussions happened. I don't know what it has come out at.
They had a big conference last week.
Conference.
Yeah,
It was,
that's right.
that.
Yeah,
The
that's
same-
where he actually made that statement that we need to bring everybody together, and he's good at doing those things.
That is the same
There is
concept
something.
like January. I think you might guys can try in IIT Chennai. They're doing the same kind of conference summit. So most of the global leaders as well as I think from outside India, they're joining for that.
Then we need one.
ICMR has also come up with a set of guidelines for ethical AI.
Where?
In ICMR.
Yeah.
That's pretty exhaustive. That's a huge
Right.
document.
So that's a good idea. We get in,
Industry.
healthcare,
Yeah.
and we get in something from finance, all that to get their perspectives. And then another panel could be
Workforce.
like Farooq coming and actually showcasing their solutions or what you did, Sarthak.
Yeah.
Right, because those are something that are very relatable to the attendees.
Yeah, workforce and talent can
These-
come together.
yeah.
Dumping down.
Yeah.
In real time, like for example, like we are talking only in the conceptual way, and we should also focus in a real time problem statement, how to solve that.
Yeah.
So that is mainly.
And that is where the startup word comes in.
Yeah.
They are
Problem solving is all we do.
solutions.
Yeah.
That is
Probably you can put up those booths as well because
Yeah, we do. We exhibited in Bangalore Tech Summit. We exhibited in
Right.
GITEX and like,
right.
and these are the places we get our clients. So
Actually, good idea. In addition to panel in the main hall, we can also have poster sessions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you heard about this Drone Federation of India, DFI, right? So, back around 10 years ago, drone was just a toy anyone could buy and just fly it anywhere, right? But the drone regulations are very strict now.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot fly a drone anywhere. Like there are like no drone area as well. Like electronic city is a no drone zone. Like you cannot fly a drones on road. You will be charged for it, right? So similarly, what I saw that a transformation in the drone industry, and the current like AI industry is just started. It's like I would say the plant has just begun to grow, right? And in future, what I would see is that if someone would ask me to predict the future of Gen AI, then what I would say is that doing Gen AI will be equivalent to doing a nuclear drug discovery at your own private lab. Okay, so like if I'm doing something around Gen AI or I'm trying to implement any deep fake, government should be like after me that okay, like we saw something happening on your laptop around deep fake, like why you did this? Do you have a license to do something like this? And I guess this is the future. So like even to law firms, what I would say is that you can bring something like you can propose something to the government around this because government is still preparing around these points. And like if I'm a Wipro employee and if I'm using my laptop which is provided by my organization, I cannot do any deep fake work over there. The moment I will do, there are regular auditing happening, as you all know how enterprises work, right? MNCs work. They will just charge me that why are you trying deepfake on your laptop? That's something not to be tried, right? And deepfake is a real concern, and it's so easy to implement. Like we don't have time; we are running out of time. Otherwise, like back in 2016, like me and my friend sitting in a room, like we just created a deepfake of Shah Rukh Khan, like in minutes, and that we even uploaded on LinkedIn and saying that this is something which is unethical, but we just tried it and we named it as Avatarify, right? And like it was so easy, like we need a lot of resources to do such things, and we had Google Cloud for Startups program. We had some $3,000 credits, and we got the GPUs, and we did it. Yeah.
So Imran Khan addressed a rally with the deepfake.
Yeah.
So he sent out smuggled out a script through his lawyers.
Yeah.
And they used his past recordings with the deepfake, and it was 95% similar.
Yeah.
So the accuracy was fairly high.
This actually could be a good topic of a two-side debate, because as much as regulations needs to come in, there is a big brother
surveillance aspect.
Surveillance state, big brother. Is that something you want to land up with?
Yeah.
As much we like A government or B government, it is a bunch of people behind whatever, right? And they have
that's
absolute power.
That's what the EU's AI Act has proscribed. They know that this is a real challenge. This is a real problem that citizens across different countries are facing. Not under the AI model, but with AI, it will be even more. You're giving too much power.
Intention.
You're giving too much power. Yes, exactly. 1980.
Okay, speaking of running out of time, we're out of time
Yes.
now. But I'll close the formal part for the guys online. So thanks very much, all of you, for joining us online. We're going to go back to our networking and discussion over here informally. So thanks, everyone. But now let's have a vote of thanks. Balaji, thanks for hosting us. And
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking time out, coming and spending this evening with us. I've been a career KMer nearly. I'm no more in KM, but I get to play host, so I'm very, very gratified today. Thanks for showing up. We want to be the friendly neighborhood idea hub. We would love to host events. If ever you feel that as a startup or something, you need a place to just jam, we want to make that happen.
yeah, we do this one every 2 months anyway. Bangalore.
I know. So you can always keep us on the list.
Good. So coffee, tea,
Coffee is outside. There's some snacks also being planned.
and exchange